The e-cigarette epidemic is sweeping our nation, and an East Texas teen is one of the victims. She was sickened by a mysterious illness that has killed at least 7 people.
Tonight, we are dedicating a large portion of this newscast to an in-depth special report about vaping. KETK's My Owens is here now with information every family should know. My.
Well, Neil, Casey, the CDC has now activated an emergency center to deal with this developing problem. The team usually reserved for natural disasters like hurricanes, tornadoes, and even the Flint water crisis. Now, from East Texas to the East Coast, their focus is on vaping. It's dominating the news.
At least 6 deaths are being blamed on e-cigarette use.
There's an epidemic spreading.
It is rapidly climbing, according to the CDC.
People are dying.
A national crisis affecting at least 450 people, from California to Connecticut to right here in East Texas.
I really hope and pray that we're not at the tip of the iceberg here, seeing all the bad things that can happen with vaping.
Vaping is on the rise, and as the number of teens doing it increases, so do the concerns for their parents, like this Tyler mother.
She was smoking cigarettes, and I thought it was safe to smoke something else.
Her daughter, 17-year-old Whitney Livingston, was a typical student at Cumberland Academy who went from a smiling teenager to relying on a ventilator to breathe in just 2 weeks.
I felt like this was my fault because I was letting my kid do this because I thought it was safe. It's not safe.
While lying in a Dallas hospital last week, Whitney's family says they never saw this coming.
Doctor said that it looked like no pneumonia he'd ever seen.
She had gone to the doctor because she was having a hard time breathing, maybe coughing some, and so they went in, did chest x-rays, and they found a little spot, and they thought that it might be pneumonia, and then of course it grew from there. Traditional
Treatment for pneumonia wasn't working, making doctors take a second look at what they believe is an illness related to vaping.
They're experimenting. They're doing what most young people do, and they're invincible. And the way it has affected her is she realizes it's dangerous to do things that are taking a risk.
The family says Whitney would vape 3 to 4 e-cigarette pods a week, which is like smoking 3 to 4 packs of cigarettes.
Really be proactive in not supplying that for their kids. Don't give them money to do that. Just help them make the right choice because it could save their life. My daughter almost died.
With common symptoms that mask the real risks of something much more dangerous, doctors are left in the dark when it comes to knowing exactly what is causing teens like Whitney to become sick.
The message that vaping is safer than tobacco use is a common misconception. I think we're all finding out now that there's more to it than just cigarettes versus vaping.
And she's not the only one. Over in Abilene, this woman, like Whitney, is lucky to be alive.
I was never going to take advantage of my lungs again.
After vaping for 3 years, Sherry Canada thought she had the flu or a stomach virus. She ended up in the hospital with her lungs filled with liquid in a medically induced coma.
I can't fight any longer. I can't breathe. My heart was just racing out of my chest. I couldn't breathe anymore. I just wanted to give up.
Canada was never a smoker, but after trying e-cigarettes,
I just got addicted to the flavors and the nicotine, and I liked it.
Now she's hoping her story will save lives.
I believe I was given a second chance for a reason.
After the first vaping-related deaths, the FDA created this graphic ad to highlight the dangers.
It's vaping,
causing some lawmakers to take a stand.
This has been an issue that's been brought to the forefront of my consciousness, family members of their friends that are increasingly concerned and anxious about what they're hearing and what they're seeing in schools large and small all across this state.
Get the customer addicted and they will keep coming back. That tobacco, cigarettes, and now these vaping e-cigarettes. It's still nicotine, and nicotine is what's addictive.
Vaping has become a very big business, as I understand it, like a giant business in a very short period of time. but we can't allow people to get sick, and we can't have our youth be so affected.
Affected by something that's confusing to people who don't vape and even people who do.
I think there are about 7,000 flavors right now, and we don't know what's in all these flavors.
Many e-cigarettes are refillable, containing materials officials say could be a cause for concern.
We know that you're not being exposed to the same types of carcinogens with smoke and carbon monoxide, but we do know that you are being exposed to a highly addictive material.
As the list of chemicals found in e-cigarettes is still being researched, Texas officials need help from the medical community.
What they can tell us about the patient, who are they, their age, their, male or female, how long have they been vaping, how much do they vape in one particular time, what products are they using, what was the substance they were vaping, was it nicotine, THC?
Although the product comes in different shapes and sizes, the mechanics are the same. The battery inside fires electronic currents, heating up an oil containing nicotine to temperatures of 450 degrees. Next, the device converts the oil into aerosol, which is then inhaled into the lungs.
That nicotine content is really, for an adolescent brain, is actually even more addictive to a teenager than it is to an adult.
The National Institute of Health and Human Services says the number of teens vaping has doubled from 11% to over 20%, causing health officials to be on high alert.
We don't know what's going on, and until we can get a better handle on it, vaping is something that really people need to think twice about.
Many parents wonder what's the attraction, worried the ads are targeting their children.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. The first time I actually tried Juul, I was surprised at how similar it was to a cigarette.
The advertisements are reaching the younger generation and misleading them that it's good and effective when in fact it's not.
Research from the National Institute of Drug Abuse shows for every 10 teens that vape, 7 of them are influenced by advertising. The appeal is that it's discreet, has no smell, and can be easily masked, especially in schools.
The smell's not there. They can do it anywhere, reach down under their desk, behind their backs, and they can't smell it. They can just, it's convenient.
When Angela Rubin from Tyler found out her son in college was vaping, she worked to put a stop to it.
The minute I found out, it was just on my radar to educate him and make sure he understood that it was something that was not accepted.
While the CDC is urging consumers to avoid e-cigarettes, the American Vaping Association disagrees, saying evidence continues to point to street-bought vaping cartridges containing THC or synthetic drugs, highlighting how e-cigarettes can be modified, allowing the user to open the pod and add ingredients so they can vape what they want, including THC, the active ingredient in marijuana.
Nobody is asking for your ID when you purchase a THC pen cartridge.
Vaping is a topic with many unknowns. The senior advisor with the FDA says the agency is working closely with the CDC and state health officials. While regulations, policies, and procedures are still being discussed, the Trump administration is working to finalize a ban on flavored e-cigarettes, with the world waiting to see what's next for the vaping industry. Now, experts warn it can be tough to spot what products are fake and which are real. But if you do vape, officials suggest you purchase the product from a licensed vendor. Reporting live in studio, Maya Owens, KETK News.
Mai, thank you for that. KETK News is continuing to take an in-depth look at the vaping problem and possible solutions to it. Please join us Thursday evening at 6:30 for our special digital report, E-CIGs and Vaping, What Every Family Should Know. We'll have a live conversation with local experts. You can watch it on our website, easttexasmatters.com, and on our mobile app. Just search KETK NBC.